Creating conversations. Arrow.net. ARROE.net. We are unplugged and totally uncut with Jasmin, Carlee, and Gibbs from National Geo Sharkfest.
Hi, Arrow.
Hey, Arrow.
Hi.
Man, I am so excited to talk to the three of you because it's Sharkfest time, man. This is like watching the Super Bowl for the ocean.
It's bigger than that. It's the World Cup.
Boy, isn't that the truth? It is so true. Because, You know what? I'm glad you said that because, especially with the latest headlines and stuff like that, it's amazing how sharks travel the world, like you just talked about, World Cup.
Yeah, sharks do have this, some species of sharks, the migratory ones, do have this amazing ability to transverse large swaths of the ocean. So it is quite a marvel that they can navigate these seas with basically just their minds and their bodies.
Jasmin, what is it about the shark that draws us to them? I mean, it's almost like the good guy, bad guy. I don't care what kind of guy. We love sharks.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to love about sharks. They've been on this planet a really long time. People really love to root for underdogs, and sharks are perhaps one of the most villainized animals that exist out there. So on one side, you've got people that fear them, and so they have this fascination with them because of their fear, and then there are others that are fascinated with them because they want to fight against that fear. So you have people on both sides.
Well, Carlee, it kind of reminds me that the shark is like Darth Vader. It's like it's a living, breathing Darth Vader on our planet.
Yeah, a little bit. Darth Vader, he started in a light and then kind of went to the dark side. But sharks, they kind of, they've got that good side to them that a lot of people don't know about. That backstory where they are extremely important for our oceans and unfortunately do get villainized, kind of like Darth Vader.
Now, Gibbs, I live in I live in a forest, and I know that we have the crow, and we have all these other scavenger birds. I've learned to respect these birds. That's the reason why I love sharks, is because are they not scavengers of the ocean, and they make sure that things stay in tune with each other?
Yeah, that's one role that sharks do play in our environment, is just making sure that everything is kind of regulated, including sometimes eating animals that are sort of sick or old, and then that sort of helps refresh the populations. They also do sometimes actively hunt, and they're quite a successful predator, particularly species like the great white. You can maybe see them in South Africa, breaching and grabbing seals out of the water in spectacular fashion.
One of the things that we see in our everyday world, maybe not in all households, but I've been in many households where people have these giant fish tanks with sharks in them. Is that being fair to them?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd put a fish as big as a shark in a kitchen sink. And I think that analogy really does go to show exactly, the scale of which we're reducing their environment. They, like I said before, they transverse entire swaths of the ocean, going from sea to sea. So I think it's really important to recognize that some of these animals don't really belong in our cages.
Mm-hmm. Jasmin, one of the things that really shocks me in about everything that's going on with Sharkfest is, which by the way is on anything Disney, ABC all the way around, which I think is just fantastic that you guys are collaborating like this. Why do sharks want to meet us on our own turf? Are they trying to reach out to us?
Well, sharks are just living their lives, going around, swimming, eating, mating, doing what animals do. But we are going into the ocean more and more. And so by nature, we're going to encounter them more because we're moving into their house. So if we go into the ocean, you have to acknowledge and accept that there are sharks and they live there, and you're going to interact with them. And, people like to use the phrase shark-infested waters, but really the waters are people-infested. The sharks live there, we don't. So we're going into their turf, not really the other way around.
Let's talk about the climate. Are we going to start seeing more sharks? Because everything seems to be a lot hotter these days.
Yeah, the climate definitely is going to impact a lot of species. Most sharks can't regulate their own internal temperature, so whatever the temperature of the water is, that's the temperature their body is. And so if they need to adjust their body temperature, they're going to have to move. And that means that they might be moving away from prey items. Their prey items might not be moving with them. That can cause issues. We also might start to see migration patterns disrupted. A lot of sharks get their cues from environmental changes. So if the environment starts, getting all weird, it might start confusing the animals. They might be leaving at different times. That can have big impacts on the environment if they're not sticking around. As Gibbs said, they provide this really important role to ecosystems, and if they're not there, who knows what'll happen.
Carlee, I always assumed the shark was like a copperhead snake that like we have here in the South, and that is that if it's cold, the copperheads are going to go away. And so are they still hanging out even though the water could be cold?
Yeah, there are certain species that can live in colder waters, but for the most part, a lot of sharks, like Jasmin said, they wait for environmental cues to move certain places. So if the water isn't warming up, or if the water is warming up faster than normal, then they'll start moving, earlier than normal. And a lot of sharks do like that warmer water because they can't regulate their body temperature except for using the environment. So we'll definitely see our sharks like to stay in warmer waters. But there definitely are some species in colder waters. But
Right. Gibbs, I was shocked to see that sharks are like chameleons. They can change colors. What's up with this?
Yeah, this is a new scope of research that my colleague Ryan Johnson and I have sort of embarked on, sort of understanding how shark skin works. And one of the key adaptations we found is that sharks are able to modulate their color, and this is regulated by hormones that they sort of burst through their body whenever they have like a certain need. So, for example, if they get scared, they shoot adrenaline through, and then they go to the bottom of the ocean where their color sort of matches the bottom of the ocean in a sort of muted type of way. So that's sort of how they kind of camouflage themselves.
Do you think through evolution, only because I'm from the state of Montana and we watch the salmon move across the Washington, Idaho, right into Montana so they can migrate, is the shark going to, through evolution, eventually make their way onto land in the way that the salmon does?
You know what, with the way things are going, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a shark walking on land. The planet is a crazy place right now, so let's just hold thumbs and see what happens.
So Jasmin, why the shark? Why do they have to get the bad rap? Because first of all, I think sharks are cute. I think they're adorable. I would love to have one, but I know I can't. So therefore, I rely on things like Sharkfest to get me up close and personal.
Yeah, I mean, sharks, they just don't have the same PR people that, mammals do. We've got movies like Free Willy and stuff where the dolphins and the whales and everyone is good. They're the good guys in the movies. And then we have other movies like Jaws, obviously comes to mind, where they're the bad guys. And that pop culture really influences how we see the world. If you're constantly seeing movies and documentaries and news shows that are talking about, shark attacks and sharks are evil and mindless killing machines and all of that, that gets into your subconscious. And so if we had people treat sharks as they do dolphins and whales, which are effectively the same thing. They both are predators in the ocean. They both play the same role. They eat things just like sharks eat fish, orcas eat seals and things like that, just like sharks do. But we have this concept that they're nice and cuddly and friendly, maybe because they're also mammals and we relate to them more than we do sharks. I don't know. But it's just a really odd thing that the sharks really got the short end of the PR stick, in my opinion.
We've been talking about Disney and ABC and Sharkfest being on anything that is Disney. We got to give kudos to National Geographics, too. My God, you guys working with National Geo on this.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like hugely honored to be part of the Nat Geo family in this regard, and wanted to include us in their programming. I mean, there's such a diversity of shark researchers out there, and Nat Geo is actually giving us center stage, something that other shark programs haven't really done. So I do feel I feel lucky and blessed to be part of this team.
Oh, and viewers on this side. I mean, what they need to understand is that Disney Plus also has the National Geographic, anything National Geographic, and I just love the way that modern day technology brings you guys to us.
Yeah, it's great. You don't even need cable, which is amazing because I don't have cable. So,
what have you guys personally learned from any of this?
I think personally, I've seen such a more in social media. You know, there's a lot more people advocating for sharks, and I think that's a big thing for shows like this because you're reaching such a wide audience, and we're trying to switch their perspective from looking at sharks from, that evil, villainized look and looking at them more of, they are these animals that are very important for our oceans. And I think that more shows like that are coming up on Sharkfest, it'll really help connect with the people on, why are sharks so cool and not just here's why sharks are scary. So I think personally, I've been seeing a lot more advocating for sharks as people are becoming more educated on sharks' roles in the ocean.
Please come back to this show anytime in the future, guys.
Well, sure. It was nice talking to you.
Pleasure.
You bet. Be brilliant today.